divorces him for him. She wrote 4 letters to him confessing her love for him, but he tore them up and he never responded. But it was found out that she wrote these letters because his wife found them and pieced them back together. Fact number 9 is that Patrick Bronte taught his daughters how to shoot pistols. When Luddites were is that The Wuthering Heights was published in 1847. It is believed that Emily began a second novel because she wrote a letter to a publisher called Thomas Newby. She mentioned the second novel, and then he had informed her or advised her not to rush the second novel. However, Emily died from tuberculosis in December 1848. There was no more ever heard about the second novel, and no one really knows if it was finished or not. It was kind of believed that Charlotte might have actually destroyed the novel because of its contents. Apparently, Charlotte wasn't really that happy with some of the contents of Wuthering Heights, and so that's what's predicted, but no one is really sure, which is really interesting and weird. Fact number 27 is that Emily Bronte loved animals, specifically dogs, and she had a large mastiff dog called Keeper, who she was really, really close to and fond of, and she spent all her time with him. Fact number 28 is that Emily is reported to have a strong nerve around dogs, specifically. So this is what I mean when I say she had really weird skills. So she was very close to dogs, but she was also extremely good with all dogs, and she would always be very strict with her dog Keeper. And apparently once she was bit by a rabid dog, and she actually cauterized her own wound. So Emily just sounds crazy to me. There's something about her, the fact that she was really good at shooting, but also cooking, but writing, but then also cauterized her own wound when she was bit by a dog. It's crazy to me. She's a really interesting person. Fact number 29 is that Charlotte and Emily briefly studied in Brussels. So there is a lot of complicated information that I didn't really include in this video, if I'm being honest, about their education, because a lot of the time they went places for education, and some of one out of the three didn't really like it, but the other two did, so the other two would stay there and one would come home. But that happened quite a few times with the different things. And they also all worked as governesses. I don't know if I've really said that. I thought I had written that down, but I guess not. They all worked as governesses, so all of them, I believe, or at least two of them, really disliked it. I think Emily and Charlotte hated their work as governesses, but like I said, that when they got that inheritance money from their aunt, that was when they focused mainly on their literary career and could stop working as governesses. But overall, it's kind of interesting. Their lives are just so crazy to me. So Anne Bronte owned a dog called Flossie, which is a really cute name for a dog. Flossie, 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 Flossie. That's so sweet. What is Flossie? I know women or people could be called Flossie, but I can't remember what name it's short for, because I know it's a nickname for if you're called something long. Florence is Florence. That's what it is. So Flossie, that's adorable. And the last fact is that Anne Bronte published poems under the pseudonym Acton Bell. So I believe, I can't really remember, but I believed a lot of them published different bits and bobs under male names, because at the time it was still a little bit not okay for women to be writers, or if you were a woman, your book wouldn't be taken as seriously. So yeah. Anyway guys, I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. I feel like it was a little bit all over the place. I need to get back into the swing of ASMRing, but I thought this would be a fun video to start off. Let me know what you think about the crackling candle in the background. I like it a lot, but I don't know if I would, I don't know if it's relaxing or